welcome. Go ahead and state your name and
Thank you,
who you're
Mr.
with.
Chairman. My name is Cleve Dunn Jr., a Baton Rouge native, local business owner. My company name is Dunn Enterprises. We have a diverse project portfolio from real estate to the hair care industry to logistics. So that's a little bit about my background. When I think about the summer of 2020, it reminds me very similar to thinking about the summer of 2016, where here in Baton Rouge we had the killing of Alton Sterling at the hands of Baton Rouge police officers. I remember when myself, State Rep Ted James, Edmond Jordan, a lot of other local business owners, community leaders came together and made a commitment to hold our city, our police department accountable for that death. One of the things that we talked about is, and to borrow a phrase from one of our local nonprofits, the Urban Congress, is not to let this be a moment, but allow it to be a movement. We committed to protest and hold our local officials and the police department accountable, but we also committed to make sure we transform from protest to policy change. We've seen some of that policy change authored by State Rep Ted James, Edmond Jordan, and the rest of our Baton Rouge delegation. We've seen some of that policy change authored by our local Metro Council members, Councilwoman Banks, Lamont Cole, and others. I remember Edmond talking earlier about mentioning names, and I probably shouldn't have mentioned names because I won't get everybody. But I'm glad to see that we are here and Edmond is bringing this legislation. I want to take my hat off to those protesters, not just here locally in Baton Rouge, but those across the country and the world who have said enough is enough. Those recent and those historically who have stood up and said enough is enough, and laws like qualified immunity needed to be changed and reformed. As a business owner, many of you on this committee, many of you within your body are business owners or professionals. We don't escape liability when something happens on our properties. We don't escape liability when something happens that is intended or unintended. We are held liable. We don't get qualified immunity. Whether you are a doctor, whether you're a contractor, whether you are on a logistics company like I do, we don't get that privilege. So I would ask you, why should we give that privilege to our local law enforcement officers? So with that, I want to ask for you to support House Bill 51. Send it to the House floor for a vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn.